you can begin.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Such an honor to get Discharge to have a little chat with us. This is great.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, just getting over the flights, and we just finished the tour in Norway, so we had a few days off, and so yeah, here we are back in Scandinavia and ready for Sonic Rites.
Have you been to Finland before?
Yeah, we've been to Finland a few times. Last time was about 4 years ago, probably like before the COVID thing and all the lockdown stuff, so it's been a while.
How do you see the scene here, like what you've seen during your gigs?
It's lively, there's a lot of people. It seems like it's happening. There's plenty of bands going on. It's a good place.
But I guess you've seen quite a few scenes, and like you guys are the OGs pretty much, right?
It appears so.
That's what they say. Like you guys have been in action like since the 70s, right?
That's when the band originally started. Yeah, it was like 77.
Man.
But it was when the band started then, it was very different from what it is now,
How was it back then?
It was more, style-wise, it was more like the early punk sound, almost like the Sex Pistols and stuff, and then it just like turned into something else, Nothing, it was nothing like Discharge is now, how you know Discharge now, and that, that was long before I was in the band, so it's, 40 years of punk rock, basically.
Yeah.
So
that's history right there.
Yeah.
So when you look at the Discharge and the history there, even though you haven't been there since the day one or anything, how do you see the sound developing?
It's, it developed into something that never existed before, at the time when the band first started doing everything, that they've done. Nobody was doing that, and they tapped on something new and something different, and here we are today, still doing it all these years later.
Do you think it's like, because it's obviously the community side of things that people are loving what you guys are doing, but is it still that it's something burning desire to create and make music and tour within you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's always, but it's hard balancing the two, like between touring and having the downtime to actually like create something. It's difficult to balance the two, especially when we're touring all the time. So that's why it's probably been pretty slow as far as us putting out. It's probably been about like 8 years now since our last album. So it's always something we're talking about. It's always something that we're working on in rehearsals, coming up with new stuff, and it's like, but everybody's got to be on the same page. We all got to want to do it, and really, just dedicate your time and, like you said, and your heart into that. You're making art basically, in a sense. So.
Do you think there's going to be a time for new songs?
Well, we all want to. So it's just, it's just getting it down. We've got ideas and stuff like that, so it's getting the time together and making it happen,
It's basically the downside of everyone wanting you guys to perform all over the world.
It's it's a non-stop thing, you know what I mean? It's constant, we just constantly get gig offers and we do it, we love playing, so.
What's your the most proudest moment what comes to Discharge?
Proudest moment? God, that's a difficult question. Probably, I don't know if I want to say proud, but last album that we put out, the End of Days album, we had like a message off our record label saying that congratulations, you guys hit the charts. I was like, what charts? What I mean? What are you talking about? He's like, you hit the charts, the British rock charts. I was like, get out of here.
Right.
Discharge, hitting the charts. Why? How did this hit the charts? You know what I mean? It was kind of like a mind-blowing thing that would hit the charts. But I mean, I suppose it makes sense though. I mean, all the early albums, all those early singles, the Hear Nothing album, the Why album, all that stuff was in the British charts at the time. So we got back in there all these years later.
And I guess like you guys are still like staying very uncompromised and, you know, like keeping your own vibe, and maybe that's the magic.
Yeah, you know, we do what we do. It's, you know, we don't really change much, and you know what you're gonna get. You know, it's Discharge. You know exactly what to expect. We kind of have our little patterns and things that we do, and it's, you know, I guess you can't really teach old dogs new tricks, you know. So
fair enough. And how do you see, like, when, you know, like the energy of the crowd and everything, like, does that affect your play, like when you
of course
go to,
yeah. You know, for me personally, I feed off that, you know what I mean? That's like, to me, we could play, you know, horribly, we could play the worst we've ever played, but if the crowd was good, like, you know, I'm into it, you know what I mean? That's, for me, that's a good gig for me, because I just feed off the energy and the vibes of the room, you know. So that's what I love about it.
What are your expectations with what comes to Sonic Rites?
I'm hoping that there's going to be that energy in the room, you know, and I think so. It's about like 1,000 people here today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there should be some sort of energy.
Yeah. Let's see if we can see some pits and all that stuff.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
But I really wanted to ask about the father of the D beat. Can you?
The father of the D beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you know, that drum pattern and that style, you know, that's something that a lot of people try to emulate. You know, when they say DB punk rock, you know, probably referring to black and white, you know, album covers, same style, the drum beat. All the bands starting with this, that, you know, it just became a whole thing, you know. So, but yeah, I suppose Discharge were the first diss band. So there you go.
So that's your signature, basically.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate
Thanks for having
it.
us.